I'm Doug Tobin, Public Information Officer with Pasco County Government, and welcome to this edition of Pasco 360, an inside look at all of Pasco County Government and what's happening in your county. Today, we're broadcasting from Gildogs in Port Richey. We'll take you all over Pasco County, including telling you more about an event that was held right here earlier this year. The Pasco County Commission approved in 2014 funding for the first phase of SunWest Park in Aripeka. We recently spoke with Chairman Jack Mariano to talk about his vision of what he sees for that park.
When we have the beaches done, the nice thing is we're going to have 40 beach volleyball courts that are going to be available to run the biggest tournaments around for collegiate or high school. Sand soccer tournaments where instead of people having to travel all the time from outside of Pasco, we can actually run these tournaments right here, save our citizens the traveling time and money, and then boost our own economy by bringing people in here. And when we set up the zip lines that are going to be in there, the floatables in the water for the kids to go play, the boardwalk will be there, a little water park for the kids, hopefully a couple of them, so the kids are like from 1 to 6 years old can actually go play and be safe. When we start our elevated structures, kind of like a John's Pass, that can actually maybe a couple of levels of restaurants, another big conference room, so when we do have these tournaments, they get a place to go, and maybe even a hotel above that. And every one of these faces a perfect sunset, which is a huge advantage. There's nothing in the world like what this park will bring, and for what it'll do for Pasco County, I think is economically going to be phenomenal. We're planning on 7 boat ramps that'll go right out to the Gulf for a future access. We're actually going through the Army Corps' dredging permit right now, going through the process. It's up in Atlanta where the attorneys are now looking over what we've proposed, and hopefully we're going to get a response pretty soon to give us a good answer. This would double the size of the boat ramps that we have in the county already, which is a tremendous asset that we have, and that's why we're pushing so hard to make sure we do get access for our boaters who are out there. I mean, people come to Florida for 2 main reasons: boating, fishing, and the beach.
To learn more about the future of SunWest Park in Aripeka, go to our website at www.pascocountyfl.net. Under the Government section, the drop-down, look for Parks and Recreation, and you'll get an update on this park and other beautiful parks in Pasco County. In Dade City at the old historic courthouse, next time you're there, stop in by the gazebo. You'll see the World War II Memorial. It's a special memorial dedicated to the men and women who fought during World War II. And in 2014, that memorial was refurbished.
60 years ago, this community came together, and in some way to be able to commemorate and remember those that sacrificed and those that left this community to fight for our freedom. We just wanted to have some way to be able to remember them, and the bandstand that's over my shoulder was constructed and built in their memory some 60 years ago. But that original bandstand was built with some plywood and some other lumber material that over the years has shown its age. I just thought it was really important to be able to preserve and protect the bandstand and that memory for generations to come. So this community came together, and with the assistance of some private donation and some others, we were able to basically rebuild or remodel this bandstand with more of a permanent material in the granite, and we've etched in stone or etched in granite the names of those that were from Pasco County and that served our country in World War II. And we also have a panel that memorializes those that are either missing in action or were killed in action. So from someone that has grown up here, it is critically important, and we should never forget those that fought for our freedom so that we can stand here today and have this celebration. And it's a way for us to be able to pass something down to the generations so that they'll always try to remember what actually transpired, during the terrible, terrible war of World War II. So it was an easy task to seek out support from the community. And this has been something that's been really rewarding to me, and I'm just most appreciative to be able to have participated in it. And it'll be something that visitors, when they come to Pasco County and they stop to take photos of the historic courthouse, maybe they'll spend a few minutes just looking at the names on that memorial. And what they'll discover is that there were a lot of relatives, because there's a lot of the same names on that memorial. So this community really came together, and left Pasco County to go to a place far, far away, not even knowing if they would come back. And I think that people will certainly appreciate that and remember that. Well, it was just coincidentally that this monument was dedicated 60 years ago on Flag Day, and Flag Day, fortunately for us, happens to fall on a Saturday. So the stars are aligning, the timing was perfect for us to remember the Stars and Stripes, and again, the memorial itself. It's bringing two events together on one day, and it should be a really great time and a great event.
And that memorial not only represents all the men and women who fought for World War II, but all the wars since. And we'd like to thank them and their families for their dedication and sacrifice. Several Pasco County government workers biked to work on National Bike to Work Day. It was held on May 16, 2014, and Pasco 360 cameras rode along for the ride. Several Pasco County employees gathered in Longleaf Friday morning. They brought their own bikes along to participate in the National Bike to Work Day. Alan Howell helped organize the event.
We're getting ready to bike to work today.
Howell also reviews bicycle and pedestrian master plans for Pasco County. He says the Land Development Code is in the process of being reviewed, and that having bike paths and trails is key to getting more people biking to work.
Well, I would like to see a total connection across the whole county with wide trails that would accommodate bicyclists, pedestrians, rollerbladers, people with baby carriages, everything that could be done both recreational and for transportation purposes.
Staying on the right side of the road. Of course.
The Bike to Work ride started from the corner of Town Avenue and Starkey Boulevard. The bikers had to get up early. They started at 7 in the morning. Bikers then traveled north on the bike path that runs adjacent to Starkey Boulevard. They eventually turned west onto Cumulus. Then, for the final stretch, they went north on Little Road.
How's it going so far?
Good. Very good.
Eventually ending their ride at the West Pasco Government Center.
We're promoting it for health and to also help the environment, to reduce the carbon footprint for the traveling public. And commuting to work on a bicycle is a good way to get trips off the road and to reduce the emissions, carbon emissions from cars.
We averaged 8.3 miles per hour. That's not bad.
What'd you think of the ride?
It was great. It was really nice. Feel very refreshed now. It was perfect weather. Couldn't have asked for a better morning.
What about riding to work?
Oh, it was wonderful. I do it more often.
You think it's something you'd like to do on a regular basis, or?
Maybe once a week.
Or
Fridays. Yeah, Fridays.
The ride coincided with National Bike Month, which has been held since 1956, according to the League of American Bicyclists. And Pasco County's goal for the future for bike trails is to make them about 15 feet wide so that both bikers and pedestrians can share the bike trails and enjoy beautiful Pasco County. And now we're going to talk a little bit about tourism at Pasco 360. Tourism Director Ed Comm joins us now to talk about 2014, and it was a big year so far.
Yes, Doug, welcome on board. It has been a very big year. We're up about 5%, which is $20,000 or $1 million of economic impact to our hospitality partners. A lot of fun stuff. We've had some normal type of events that have gone on, and we've added some new ones too. One right here on the bayou, and that's Pasco PaddlePalooza. We're
here at Gildog in Port Richey, and this is a new place, but it looks like they've done a great job here.
They've done a great job. The phoenix has risen from the ashes in just about an 18-month period of time from when the property was first bought and the owner came in and started making changes. And he's turned on Miller's Bayou. It's now a happening place.
That's great. And if you're looking for a place to come out and enjoy a weekend or even during the weekday, this is a great start to getting out to the Gulf of Mexico. As far as the events going on this year, Miller's Bayou held a big event. PaddlePalooza was held here and kicked off here too.
Just about a month ago here at the middle of the spring, we had Pasco PaddlePalooza, where we partnered with other sponsors and Gildog in particular to bring in kind of a unique flavored. We had the Durney Key Challenge, which is a on-water obstacle course, as opposed to those obstacle courses you hear about running through the mud. And then we had the Salt Springs Classic, which has been put on by the Citizen Support organization of Werner Boyce Salt Springs Park, and that's basically your standard kayak, canoe, SUP type paddle race. And then the exciting new addition was the dragon boat races right here on the bayou behind us. That was a lot of fun.
Now, those are just events that all went with PaddlePalooza out here on the water. How many people do you think we had for that?
We had over 6,500 people walk across, probably Miller's Bayou at the time. Of the different participants, we had 8 different boats on the dragon boat races, which hold 22 people each. We had 30-some people for the Salt Springs Classic, and right about 25 people for the obstacle challenge on the water. That's kind of a new sport, so we expect that to grow. Not a lot of people are thrilled about getting in and out of their kayaks on the water.
Well, it looks like a great location to have it. Is it going to continue year after year?
I believe that will become an annual event. It definitely kind of started off our spring festival season. They did it the same weekend as the Cody Seafood and Blues Festival, so that was great. So we had downtown Simms Park tied in with Port Richey, so the two cities working together, and that's what the county really wants to encourage.
All right, very good. That's just a touch of what happened in 2014. We'll talk about some other events coming up later on Pasco 360. This edition of Pasco 360, we're broadcasting from Gildog in Port Richey. It's a great place to launch your boat if you have one, or just get out on the water and enjoy the Gulf of Mexico. And reminder, as you are out there boating this summer and throughout the year, make sure you and your family are properly protected with life vests. You know, Pasco Public Safety is ready 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Our men and women in uniform are ready to help you. But you also have to help yourself from time to time. And in April of this year, Public Safety Branch of Pasco County Government held a press conference along with the Pasco Sheriff's Office and the Pasco County Health Department. Here's some tips from that press conference.
Disaster preparedness starts with a good plan and a community commitment. Thank you for your commitment for being here today, all of our partners. Disaster preparedness starts with a good plan. We are here to celebrate public health, and this marks 125 years of public health in Florida and with your county health department. We want to recognize the role that individuals and private public partnerships play in the health of our community. Today we're here discussing and focusing on disaster preparedness and steps we can take to better be prepared. As we ask individuals to take steps to prepare, we also recognize the critical infrastructure role that the agencies that represented today will play in the event we have a disaster. Collaboration and planning with law enforcement, county government, fire rescue, public safety, emergency planning, hospitals, schools, and others will ensure we have an effective plan. Our role at the health department during hurricanes is to protect some of the most vulnerable citizens with shelter, health care, and emotional support. We cannot effectively do that with those residents unless they take an active role in their care. That means signing up for special needs registry.
I guess our big message today is it could happen to any of us. We've been blessed in Florida the past couple of years that we have not seen a major natural disaster. That does not mean it can't happen. The one thing that's unfortunate when we don't have disasters, people get very comfortable. They say it won't happen to me. It won't happen here in Pasco County. It can. A couple of years ago we had a tropical storm. I can say with the collaborative work with all these people brought forward today, with all our agencies, we were able to make a positive impact out there to save lives and protect property. But our biggest asset is for our citizens to be out there, to be vigilant, and to be prepared. And to recognize that when we do tell you to evacuate, please evacuate. We do it because we're trying to save you and your family. The other thing too is have a plan in place with your family. For many people, they have family that live outside the area. Have a plan in place to be able to contact them so you know where they are. And they can contact you and say, okay, we know where your plan is to go in case you are evacuated out of your home. The other place is have a plan for your pets. You know, what is forgotten a lot of times, but at the last moment remembered is that when you have a dog, a cat, or some other type of pet, how are you going to protect that animal? The other one too is you may need to have cash on hand. You know, in a disaster, the ATM machines may go down. You need to have cash to be able to go. But the one thing is be prepared. Have a box set aside for your family as to necessities for you and your family to survive. Know where you're going to go and do it early. Because when you start seeing the waters coming up, when you start seeing the radar maps that the winds and the gusts are coming in extremely high and very fast, that's not the time to leave. The time to leave is when we ask you to leave. And we're going to have the people in place to do that. So again, I want to thank our partners because this is a partnership. None of us can do this alone. And it especially includes you, our citizens. We need your help. Thank you very much.
Good morning. I'm Randy DeBeast, Assistant County Administrator for Public Safety Administration. On behalf of Administrator Baker, I want to welcome you here today at the advent of National Public Health Week to discuss Pasco County disaster preparedness. First, I want to thank Sheriff Nacco and Public Health Officer Mike Napier for partnering with us this morning. Also joining me is Director of Emergency Services Chief Scott Casson, Director of Public Safety Communications Donna Fernandez, and Director of the Office of Emergency Management Annette Doing. This turnout this morning is indicative of how important the county takes disaster preparedness and emergency response, not just during hurricane season, but year-round. And this grouping of public safety professionals illustrates the continuous partnering that occurs on a daily basis, as well as during times of extreme emergency, to keep the residents of Pasco County safe. All these offices have plans and protocols, procedures for nearly every conceivable emergency or disaster that may affect this county. And they practice their profession every single day. They're prepared to take the necessary steps and well-planned steps to ensure the continuity of critical public services that our residents rely on in the event of a local disaster. But that's only half our message this morning. I know these teams are amply prepared, but are our residents as prepared with their own family plans, as the sheriff alluded to? Take a moment to ask yourself this question. If you heard a destructive tornado was going to hit our community in 16 minutes, do you and your family have a survival plan? Hopefully you can answer yes to that question, but according to the Center for Disaster Preparedness, most of us do not have such a plan in the event of a disaster. In a moment, these subject matter experts are going to be giving you a few tips to think about as you prepare your own family survival plan. But if you have not yet taken the first steps in your disaster preparedness planning, I urge you tonight to simply take a few minutes to speak with your loved ones on what to expect in the event of an emergency, what not to expect, and what our community may look like in the event of a disaster. Thank you for being here today. And now I'll turn over to Chief Casson.
Thank you, Randy. Good morning. As Chief of the Department, I couldn't be more proud of the men and women of Pasco County Fire Rescue. They stand at the ready 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, to answer the more than 160 calls for emergency help each and every day here in Pasco County. But there are some things that you can do to help reduce these numbers. As you already heard earlier, first and foremost, have a plan. A disaster can strike at any moment, so it's best to be prepared ahead of time for fire, flood, or a host of other disasters that can occur often without warning. 3 things that you can do today are: 1, check the batteries in your smoke alarms, and if you have one, your carbon monoxide alarm as well. A good way to remember this is to do it twice a year, once in the spring and once in the fall when we change our clocks for daylight saving time. 2, we're currently getting ready to head into brush fire season here in Pasco County. You want to keep thick vegetation away from your home and keep all tall grasses mowed short. You essentially want to create a natural barrier around your home between you and any forested or brush areas. And finally, practice your plans. Make sure everyone in your family knows what to do when the smoke alarm sounds at 3 in the morning. Make sure they know what to do when there's a severe thunderstorm approaching. And most importantly, know how to access help by calling 911. For more information on these and other safety tips, you can check out our website at pascocountyfl.net/fire rescue. That's pascocountyfl.net/fire rescue. Thank you for your attention, and I'm now going to turn it over to Public Safety Communications Director Donna Fernandez.
Yeah, on behalf of the Public Safety Communications Center, I'd like to remind everyone that 911 is there for life and death emergencies. We do ask that during severe weather, due to call volume increases, that you do utilize these other resources for non-emergency events or information, including weather, evacuation zones, etc. That information will be posted on our websites, and we do ask that you to use those appropriately. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Annette Doing, Director for Pasco County's Office of Emergency Management. It's definitely my privilege to stand up here with these first responders, these people who are right on the front line of helping the community get through emergencies and disasters. The role of the Office of Emergency Management is to work with these partner agencies to make sure that they are very prepared in the event that an emergency escalates into a true disaster. I'm proud to tell you that these agencies are prepared to serve even in the worst of times. We're all busy right now preparing for hurricane season. It's one of our most significant threats in our community, and we are very aware of the nature of the outcomes of the impact of a hurricane. The effects from storm surge along our coast, freshwater flooding throughout our community, and high wind. We hope that you've begun to think about hurricane season as well. There's a lot that a citizen, a resident, a visitor can do to prepare for a hurricane, to prepare themselves, to protect their family, their home, their property, their pets. If you need assistance in developing your plan, if you need advice about what you can do to protect yourself, we urge you to contact the Office of Emergency Management at 727-847-8137, or to navigate through PascoCountyFL.net's website to get to the Office of Emergency Management homepage. There you're going to find an abundance of tips about how to prepare for a full range of disasters, from the wildfire to the freshwater flood event to the high wind event or the coastal storm surge. Thank you very much for your time today and your attention to these matters, and very much appreciation to Mike Napier for organizing this event.
What a beautiful place we have here in Pasco County, not only in our waterways, but in our communities as well. Our recycling program has a special art feature to it every year, and that art display happened at our government center earlier this year. Let's take a look.
I am always amazed at what these kids are able to create out of junk that most people would throw away, and they see something beautiful in it and make something great.
Pasco County Schools has been involved with this program since I guess the inception 18 years ago. I'm pretty new to the district still, about 3 years. As a matter of fact, it was so big years ago we had to start tailoring it down a little bit because we were getting so many pieces of artwork and we run out of room here. So we've had the schools kind of have their own little competitions in their schools, and then the top 7 winners come here and participate in the big event. So it's really not hard getting kids involved. A lot of them are interested.
Well, they can use anything, but their piece has to have at least 70% used material in it. So they can't make something brand new. We have to be able to determine that it came from something that has been used before. And the other thing is they have to meet certain size requirements. They can't be larger than a certain size, and it has to have an environmental theme. Now, not everything shows up with an environmental theme, but if you're going to win an award, it has to have an environmental theme. This is our first place winner. It is also one of the 2 that tied for the People's Choice. That's when people actually vote in the first 4 days of this exhibit. This is called Let's Celebrate a Trash-Free Ocean, and the person who did it was Caitlin Brusick, and she is a student at J.W. Mitchell High, just down the road from us. The reason she won, according to the judges, is the creativity of this piece was important, but more than anything, it was the complexity of it. If you are close enough, you can see how many tiny little pieces this person has put together. And it's very stable, which is important. You don't want it to fall apart. It's got aluminum cans in it, it's got pop tops, it's got bottle tops, it's got things I don't recognize, but they're obviously old. These look like buckles. So it's a very complex piece on top of being creative, and it makes a statement, because one of the things that we suffer from in Florida is that our native sea turtles are suffering from not only lights on the beach but trash in the ocean. So it's a very strong environmental statement.
Well, it's got to be at least 70% recycled materials. And that's basically, we have some size requirements. I don't remember what the dimensions are, but they can't be too big. That's pretty much it. We let their imagination go wild, and we hope for an environmental theme, but we're happy with just recycled pieces of material. So,
for instance, we have the best use of aluminum, the best use of plastic. We have best artistic concept. We have 15 prizes, including a People's Choice.
Top 15 winners, the 15 winners all get cash prizes. First, second, and third are $500, $300, and $200 respectively, and then $100 for each one after that. And we also offer a $1,000 scholarship to a senior, one scholarship a year. So, we try to help them out a little bit.
What you're looking at here is our second place winner in the 2014 Art of Recycling, and this is a $300 prize money that goes with this. This is called What You Don't Recycle Remains. And this is a student at Ridgewood High School, and her name is Ashley Gourlay. And I believe that this one won second place because of just the placement of all the materials. There's a lot of natural elements in here, but there's also trash, as you can see, and she managed to melt down the bottles. I don't know how but she's got these bottles flattened without breaking them. That has to be heat. Then she's got paper, and then she has shells and sponge over here. I don't know whether you know, but sponges are endangered pretty much all over the world. But the thing I think the judges loved about this is, I don't know whether you can see this on camera, but this is one of the old Florida license plates that actually says "Keep Florida Green." And as you can tell, it's very old and extremely rusty. She probably pulled it out of a pile of junk somewhere, and she incorporated. And then here she's got a map of the Tampa Bay area and a star that says "You are here." I think that's a great element. And I just think that the whole thing is a very creative idea about the way we trash Florida and how we have not kept it as green as we might be able to.
We get all our money for these kids come from our sponsors, and without them we couldn't do it. So it's incredible.
So this is our third place winner, and this winner is Lucas Lebrec of Genesis Prep. As I said earlier, this Art of Recycling is open to high school students, homeschooled, private school, or public school. So this came from one of our private prep schools, Genesis. And the thing about this piece is that, again, it's so intricate. It's almost all metal, old kitchen tools, some aluminum can, an old motherboard from a computer. And the other thing about this is it actually moves, although I really don't want to move it because they can be fragile. But this actually moves, and the arm that you see moves forward and back. So this won third place, again, for the creativity, the complexity, how well put together it is. It's very stable, it's very balanced. It's a really nice piece of art.
If you'd like to learn more about recycling in Pasco County, just go to our main page, www.pascocountyfl.net. Type in the keyword recycling under the drop-down. I hope you enjoyed our show from Gildog in Port Richey. Come on out and enjoy the beautiful sunshine we call home. We'll see you again for another edition of Pasco 360.